Something huge is about to happen, and United States dominance is on the line right now. While most of the United States is focused on our election just 23 days away, something huge is happening where the global world order is being rearranged right before our eyes right now, and Washington, D.C. is desperately trying to hold on to power. There is a global war that is quietly happening that they don't want you to know about. Guys, this is as big as it gets for world power and U.S. dollar dominance and the failure of this Biden administration. So you better pay attention to what's happening. So there are a number of huge news developments that we need to cover today, which have massive implications for Western powers. And I'm going to show you something very troubling that NATO just did, which no mainstream media are covering, by the way. It's very concerning. But first, let's start with what's happening in Russia in just 9 days from now, a global showdown that is unprecedented in its scale and its implications. A titanic struggle is about to unfold between NATO and the BRICS nations. The timing, by the way, is set on purpose right before the United States election. It's a clear message from Putin and China that American dominance is coming to an end. This clash will officially kick off at the eagerly anticipated BRICS summit in Kazan, Russia on October 22nd. Now, while the mainstream media might be busy pushing distractions, we are here to break down what's going on right now, what's truly at stake, a global battle over resources, the unraveling of the U.S. dollar's dominance, the sort of fighting to hang on from NATO, and the potential shift for a seismic shift in global power dynamics right now. Now, you might be asking, why all the fuss about this summit? This isn't just any summit. This is the equivalent right now of the Bretton Woods Conference after World War II, which gave American dollar reserve currency status around the world. This BRICS summit represents the death of the Bretton Woods Conference and the end of U.S. dollar dominance. Donald Trump said this is going to be worse than losing a war.
Our country's going to hell, and we're not going to be the big bar. We have power, but it's waning. In fact, it's waning in terms of our currency. And I'm not just talking about the value of our currency. I'm talking about our currency being used throughout the world.
You want it to remain. You want the dollar to remain the world's reserve currency.
Well, I think it's bigger than losing any war.
And Trump is right. Under President Biden and Kamala Harris, the BRICS nations have massively accelerated their size and scope. On October 22nd, the BRICS countries, comprised of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa as its leaders, now expanding to include Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE. It now represents a staggering 35.6% of global GDP by purchasing power parity and 45% of the world's population. Iran has joined BRICS. At the same time, nutjobs in Washington, D.C. want to go to war with Iran to help Israel.
I've been saying for 6 months now, hit Iran. They have oil fields out in the open. They have the Revolutionary Guard headquarters you can see from space. Blow it off the map.
You see how this is lining up? Russia and China backing Iran? How do you think this is going to go? This grouping is now a significant counterbalance to Western economic and geopolitical hegemony, strength in numbers. But where does the real power come from? It comes from the resources. And that's exactly what this conference is all about. Putin is now setting his sights on resource-rich regions around the world, from the lithium plains of South America to uranium fields in Africa. And of course, the ever-vital oil and gas reserves. Energy resources are at the heart of this brewing conflict right now, but no one's really talking about it. The United States right now is set to double its electricity usage because of AI. And guess what? We get almost all of our uranium from Russia, all of our enriched uranium from Russia. What happens when Putin stops sending any to us? Game over. As you know, the surge for lithium, copper, and other critical minerals right now is really what's driving this covert global war. Now imagine if the BRICS nations cornered these markets. Western supply chains, especially those in tech and renewable energies, could face cataclysmic disruptions. We heard right from Senator Lindsey Graham's own mouth that the reason we're even in Ukraine is because of all of the minerals there.
They're sitting on $1 trillion worth of minerals that could be good to our economy. So I want to keep helping our friends in Ukraine. We can win this. They need our help.
That's right. We're literally stealing their minerals. So the United States and NATO allies might find themselves scrambling to secure lesser alternative sources as the energy balance tilts towards BRICS. And of course, we now have confirmation that Hurricane Helene that struck western North Carolina struck an area with massive lithium deposits. Lithium that the United States government desperately needs. It was right under their feet. It is very curious how a hurricane struck in that exact location. So the U.S. government has the perfect opportunity for a land grab now in western North Carolina. Now, resources are one thing. Now, let's talk about currency. With the BRICS summit only days away, there's more than just mere speculation that they're about to launch a new currency backed by gold. This new currency will aim to remove the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency of the world. As economist and gold expert Peter Schiff just said, this is the fault of the Biden administration, putting severe sanctions on Russia that drove them to do this.
Peter, how about it? I don't see anything good of the BRICS nations coming together and strategizing, as they say, to pretty much take over the world and screw over the West, which is us. Yeah. I'm a little concerned. Well, shouldn't we be worried?
Oh, we should be. First of all, they supply us with a lot of goods, but they also have loaned us a lot of money. The United States really depends on the dollar as the reserve currency. But what we did with those sanctions, we gave the world a powerful reason not to want to be a part of that system anymore.
So Schiff is right. We are feeling these monstrous effects on American soil. The effects of these shifts are palpable. For instance, we're witnessing a surge in core producer price inflation this week. As Zero Hedge reports, even as energy prices temporarily sag, the food and services costs continue to climb. Americans are feeling these pressures acutely. I'm sure you are, right at the gas pump, at the grocery store, with heating bills. How many of you are experiencing the doubling of your grocery bills right now? Let me know down below. Americans are restless. They're sick of this. I'm sick of it. So to understand the full magnitude of what's upcoming, you need to understand how these globalist policies have eroded domestic economic foundations. We've outsourced critical minerals and industries thanks to liberal policies. We've weakened the American workers' competitive edge around the world, and we've offshored all of it. President Trump called this out. He said we must stop globalization.
If you want freedom, take pride in your country. Wise leaders always put the good of their own people and their own country first. The future does not belong to globalists.
Perhaps that's why they tried to assassinate him when he wants to stop the globalist agenda. The deep state military actively wants a war with these countries in order to retain U.S. dollar dominance. Trump wants to build up America's manufacturing at home, build up our own infrastructure at home. So as the BRICS summit approaches, NATO is trying to flex its muscles. And this week, NATO did something that no one really covered because of the twin hurricanes that were hitting the United States. Yes, NATO is running nuclear preparedness drills, preparing for a nuclear war against Russia. But they said, don't worry, we're not using live warheads. Oh, good. But they're planning for a nuclear war, tabletop exercises on how they would deploy troops across Europe in order to invade and attack Russia, and how we would respond to a nuclear war. This is the reality we're living in right now, folks. The world is changing right before our eyes, and Trump might be our only hope to stop this madness. So that's the news update part of today's video. Now I want to talk about today's sponsor, which is tied directly to everything we're talking about today in this international battle over resources, specifically around uranium. I mean, this is just the beginning. With the demand for electricity that we're talking about right now, nuclear energy is becoming one of the most compelling industries out there. And the United States is slated to accelerate its consumption right now by almost double our electricity demands. But currently, we have minimal domestic production of uranium to meet those demands with nuclear power. It's just laughable, actually. It's really sad. You can thank the Clintons for this, basically getting rid of our uranium enrichment programs in the United States. Putin's Russia, which has one of the largest exporters of uranium to the United States, is on a path to a full ban, meaning no supply coming from Russia. The supply is coming offline, no more from Russia. So where will the deficit be supplied from? Well, the largest companies in the world, Microsoft included, are rightly concerned that when they scale their AI businesses, they're going to face huge energy shortages. Therefore, they are making plays of their own to secure electricity independence, primarily through uranium. Amazon, another giant entering the nuclear industry, is also concerned about the length of time it would take to obtain the crucial electricity for its data centers. That's why they're all turning towards nuclear. Now, if you think that China is waiting around and watching how America does it without a fight, you're dead wrong. They are on it big time right now. So what I did in the midst of these massive trends right now in the bull market in uranium is I found a company that is still more than 50% below its all-time highs, but that it's also made a clear bottom and it's bounced back nicely into shape lately. In other words, I looked for a high-quality, well-managed business that is cheap and in my view is on an uptrend right now. That's how I like to invest. It's my only play right now in the nuclear sector. This is the only one. And it's today's sponsor, that's Atha Energy. Here's their ticker symbol on your screen. Now, I asked them to sponsor today's video because I've been a big fan of their company for more than a year, and I've been tracking what they're doing. And right now, the global demand for uranium, especially in the United States, is off the charts. Now, as you can see, look at their share price. It has plummeted this year. This is a gift. really, because it's bounced back a bit, but it's still 50% below its all-time high. 75% below the analyst price target, which I'm going to show you in a second. Now, the CEO of Atha Energy was previously employed with Cameco, rising to the role of chief geologist at their Eagle Point mine. Now, when he led his team to discovering 50 million pounds of uranium, then with his next employer, NextGen Energy, he held the position of vice president of exploration, where the technical team increased the Arrow deposit resource from 200 million to 330 million pounds of uranium. I mean, this is remarkable. I personally could not ask for a better person to lead Atha Energy, which is the reason I'm telling you about this and this company right now. So here's the analyst report with a price target of $3 Canadian, or the equivalent of $2.21 USD, US dollar. So that's the price target right now, compared with the current price of just 50 cents a share. That's where analysts believe this stock is headed. Here are the best quotes, by the way, from this 8th Capital report. Number 1, Target. We are initiating coverage of Atha Energy Corporation with a buy rating of $3 Canadian share target price based on an in situ valuation. That's great news. Number 2, noticeable competitive advantage. Given its commanding land position, Atha will likely become a takeout candidate. And number 3, major shareholders have a strong track record in this basin. The basin the analyst means, of course, is the Athabasca Basin, the richest soil for uranium on planet Earth and the highest grade uranium in the world. And the shareholders he's mentioning are the 2 founders of Atha who staked the basin for over a decade. That's game, set, and match. Again, that's an analyst price report on where they see this company going. Now, the potential upside is immense for Atha Energy. They're right now at the start of the Lassonde curve. The entire portfolio of prospective land, projects, and deposits is being explored right now. And as I've started this video today explaining that the United States is the world's largest consumer in nuclear energy for civilian purposes, but that it hardly has any domestic mining to actually support it. So it relies on trusted import partners right now, right, like Russia. Well, none are as important and reliable as Canada because they own the highest grade uranium jurisdiction in the world, where the highest grade and most lucrative mines reside, the Athabasca Basin in Saskatchewan, which is how this company got its name, by the way. Athabasca Basin, Atha Energy. So you get that? Anyway, Atha Energy is the owner of the largest land package in the Athabasca Basin, the world's highest grade region for uranium. I mean, you can look at the comparable chart below. It's astonishing. Not only that, but the company raised $44 million at a valuation of 74 cents a share, which is well below its current share price of 50 cents a share. So very few have gotten the chance to accumulate shares at these levels, guys. Here's the full recap of this extremely important alert that I've just brought you. Number 1, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, among others, are making strategic investments in nuclear energy because of the dire need to double the electrical output as we enter the artificial intelligence industrial revolution. Number 2, the United States is grossly unprepared, having virtually no domestic mining in the United States. Number 3, right to the north, Canada owns the Athabasca Basin, the world's highest grade jurisdiction of uranium. And number 4, a pure play uranium company is down right now 50% from its all-time high and 33% below its gigantic financing round with an analyst price target of $2.21 a share. It's trading right now for this price, look at your screen, and it owns the largest land package in the Athabasca Basin. Number 5, the company's CEO has helped lead technical teams that have discovered 180 million pounds of uranium. Number 6, Atha Energy has the largest land package in the Athabasca Basin and the Thelon Basin, a geological extension of the Athabasca Basin that remains unexplored. And additionally, the company is deploying one of the largest uranium-focused exploration budgets right now that includes drilling globally in 2024 with lots of results yet to come. So Atha Energy is my combo bet on both AI and on energy at the same time. A great sort of double play. So guys, do your own research on this company, do your own due diligence, study their projects, study their financials. They're all public. Look at the analyst price target that I referred you to in this video. Again, they're a publicly traded company. Dive deep into the details, guys, and I'll see you next time.